Where's all your money gone, Donnie?
Taxes. Let me fix my houses.
Bug, it's okay. It's part of the game.
No, it's not.
It's not
fun.
It's not fun to what?
It's the worst part of the game.
Is what?
Taxes.
Good morning, everybody. Zach, Perfect Chaos Collectibles, coming at you this fine, stormy Wednesday morning on my commute. Welcome to my mobile YouTube studio. Not a lot of space left in my house right now. Pretty much a lot of the rooms are taken up, and the office has been commandeered with the TCGPlayer inventory and shipping station and area. So not a lot of space to have a dedicated area to do these kind of videos and things. So for now, you get me in my commute, going to work in the mobile studio, the van. Thank you guys for those of you who checked out the video yesterday. It was my first one, first try, first shot of the thumbnail, and got a few views. For those of you out there on the some of the Discords I'm on, thank you for going out and checking it out. Some of my friends and family and things, really appreciate it. Hopefully you got some valuable information or learned something new. And for anybody that's interested in following us along in this side hustle grind that is selling trading cards online, please just, like and subscribe, check it out. I'll be pumping out a few videos a week. It's probably not going to be every day, but I'll get some information out there, lessons learned, things I'm doing. I'm going to do my best not to just be some repeating talking head out there in the Pokesphere of PokeTube. It's pretty overwhelming. A lot of back and forth, tit for tat. People out there just regurgitating the same stuff, and I get it. There's only really so many things you can talk about. And I guess when you find different subjects or things to speak on, maybe you're just providing a different perspective, right? So one of the things I wanted to talk about today, especially because here in about 5 days, on the 15th of June, quarterly tax payments are going to be due. When I started this, I knew, kind of like what I was saying yesterday, go all the way. And before I even listed one card for sale, I had already gone out and formed a LC for the business, got my EIN, got all the information, got any licenses I needed for my state, etc., and had all that ready to go. Again, fortunate enough to have some capital to be able to do those things early on. Possibly in the future, if things pick up, might convert over to an S Corp, but not worried about that right now. One quick disclaimer before I talk about taxes. I am not a licensed tax professional. This is not financial advice. This is for entertainment purposes only. Contact your local tax professional or accountant for the real deal on what you need to do. But for me, what I'm looking at right now is trying to estimate and calculate my quarterly tax payment that's going to be due on the 15th of June. And so if you're slinging cards, you're selling stuff, and you're not setting aside money whenever you get those payments from TCGPlayer, you get those payments from eBay, you're not doing some pre-calculations and putting some money aside, and some of these quarterly tax payments, especially if you're an LLC, you might be hurting later, either through penalties or an unknown tax burden that you didn't know was coming. But for me, being an LLC, I anticipate by the end of the year that I might meet that threshold of owing at least $1,000 in federal income tax for the business. So I'm supposed to be required to pay quarterly estimated tax payments. And so I've been doing that math now. Also, I'm in a state that has state income tax on businesses. So unfortunately, I got to add that to my calculus. And then I live in a municipality that has a local tax for any businesses that are out there selling things based on your address of where you're selling your goods. So I got to have a tax payment for my federal, my state, and my municipality. So what I've been doing, roughly, is anytime I get a payment from TCGPlayer or whoever, I just immediately take about 30% of that, dump it in a savings account, and set it aside till I have my quarterly payments, which again, the first one's coming up on the 15th. And there's a few people out there talking about taxes with trading cards. They just kind of brush over it. They're like, hey, taxes are a thing. Don't forget to pay your taxes. There's a channel out there for a a licensed professional that talks about trading card taxes, which is a pretty good resource. Apologize now, I forgot the name of your channel. I'll get it later. I'll put it down in the description below, and you guys can check that out. A lot of great content. Some folks are out there using software to track their expenditures, their mileage, their income. A lot of folks using QuickBooks. It's okay. Xero, you know, that one's okay too. You got to pay for it. It's not necessarily designed for the TCG space, but you can probably get by. And then you got your Excel warriors out there, your Microsoft wizard with some of the most elaborate, crazy Excel spreadsheets I've ever seen, trying to manually keep track of all this stuff, which is great if you're an Excel guru. I'm IT by trade during my day job, and so I use Excel too, and formulas and all that fun. But on the side for me, and I'll probably make a video about it later, I've been developing a web app dashboard for me right now. No real plans to expand it later, depending on how well it goes, to keep track of just about everything when it comes to expenses, mileage, my cost of my inventory, cost of goods sold, shipping, fee, and all that good stuff, all based in a web application that I can access on my phone, I can access at home on my computer, and it's keeping track of all these things for me. And periodically I can just download my information out of TCGPlayer or whatever, dump it in a folder, and my system is automatically ingesting this data and calculating profit off my cost basis from the batches of cards or any possible collections that I buy. So it's doing all that math for me. I can go in and enter in individual expenses for whatever. Buy some equipment, I go buy some shipping supplies, whether it's in person, online. I can attach a copy or a JPEG or a PDF of the receipt, and it keeps track of it in a database that I can just pull later if I need it. But it's attached to that in the database. It calculates all that for me. Any equipment that I buy, it keeps track of those expenses, and any of the higher dollar pieces of equipment, it'll even calculate depreciation for me if I'd like. And then there's a mileage tracker that's built in. So whenever I drive to the post office, or I drive somewhere to pick up a piece of equipment, I drive to go buy a bulk batch, I can input my mileage in there, and it'll keep track of that deduction. And anytime I submit something to ESA, there's a separate area for submitting certain cards out of batches for grading, and it'll keep track of my grading fees as an expense, the shipping fees with PSA as an expense. And then once I get the card back and I get my grade, you know, whenever it sells, the system will calculate my profit based on the cost basis of that card, subtracting all the expenses and everything I had to get that card graded, and everything else is deductions. You can also set up a profile in there for, are you taking the home office deduction? What percentage of your cell phone, your internet bill, any of those things as a small business LLC that could possibly be deductible things that at the end of the year when filing taxes is benefit to reduce that tax burden as much as you can, especially in a place like here where I'm getting it three ways, right? I'm getting it from the Fed, the state, and my municipality, and then I'm paying taxes for my day job, right? So anything I can do to save money on taxes, I'm going to try to do that. And then the best part, other than the initial dashboard when you log in that just shows you everything, shows you your profits, quarterly earnings, P&L, right? Profits and losses and all that stuff. It gives you little notifications to tell you, and don't forget your quarterly tax payment. You should probably go file some minutes for your LLC or whatever to maintain good standing and all those kind of whiz-bang things. But my reports tab is pretty awesome. And there's a few different reports and things that it'll generate, but the best one is it'll take all this data, the profits, the cost of the inventory, cost of goods sold, deductions, and everything, and it'll spit it out in a format, whether it's a spreadsheet or a PDF, and it'll be structured for the Schedule C. So at the end of the year, I can just take that report, hand it off to my tax professional, and be like, here is my information for my small business. pretty please help me reduce my tax burden. Please and thank you. So hopefully that works out. I modify it every time I'm in it. I'll find a little thing that I want to change or some small little feature I want to add to it. So right now I'm on like version, I don't know, 3.11.a or something. I don't even remember, but it's been pretty beneficial. I have my own domain name that I primarily use for email, and then that dashboard for myself. And I host everything at home, so I'm not paying any hosting fees or anything like that. So I know not everybody has the ability to host a web app or a web page out of their office. So that's kind of unique. I'm saving on that on equipment I already had because, again, I'm an IT guy and I'm kind of a nerd. But it's definitely beneficial. Keep track of your information. There's a few more tools out there. You know, homie from Gem TCG is coming up with a software as a service, paid service to try to keep track of these things at a very, very simple level, just basic P&L and things like that, which is great. I'm glad somebody's out there generating something specific to the space. I know a lot of people don't necessarily like QuickBooks. I'm not dogging them. They work great for most small businesses. But when you're talking trading cards, and you're talking the possibility of tens of thousands of SKUs and all these things, and different bulk buys or different collection buys, all having their various different cost basis and trying to keep track of that in some way, those systems aren't really designed for that. So that's why I custom built one for me. It's working right now. We'll see how it goes. But don't forget your quarterly taxes for those of you out there with an LLC. You got 5 days. You got to pay the man, right? You got to get that money in his hand. And keep track of your deductions. Try to limit your tax burden as much as you can. Again, contact a tax professional to help you out. I'm just some talking head in a van driving down the interstate. But other than that, our first 24 hours as a level 4 seller at 13 sales, all averaging about $5 to $10. It's pretty good. I got some out yesterday. Got a nice little fat stack plain white envelopes to send out at the post office this morning from the orders I packed out when I got up today. And things are moving along. So if you like what you see and you want to hear more from the old man, then just like and subscribe. I appreciate you guys. Later.